Okay, we're back and we're painted. Let everything cure nice and pretty. Ooh, looky there, looky there. Look at that, like new. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to put this back in place. This is a pretty simple one right here. So since this is how it's going to sit, the pin goes in from the top so that it doesn't have a chance to kick out. Boom. All right, pin in. And then the gear selector tab, or bracket or brace, whichever you want to call it. All right, now this is, see where the key is here. This is the orientation, because that rod that's got to run through and poke out here has to go through that tab. So to press the ignition switch. Yeah, I know I'm already getting it all smeary, but we'll have it clean before we put it back together again. Okay, so that's that part. Slip and slide the ignition switch through the case. Right here, about here, coming out. You can tell coming out about right here for the ignition switch itself. Remember the problem we have with that? All right. So it's been cleaned. I brushed out the lining inside the column, and I'm just going to use a little. This is just some lithium, just a little grease. Just get a little stickum. Just a little bit. All right, and this feeds from the back into that slot. Remember we talked about this? That's the part that locks in place. And a little bit of lube, and there we go. There's that part. Just like that. Then you just kind of just finagle it around. Get the wire where the wire needs to go. And everything has its place where it goes. Just kind of work it around. It'll find its way in its spot. It'll only go in one way. Boom. You guys want to know how to piss off the neighbors on a Sunday afternoon? Start one up with open headers, with the door open. It's a lot of fun. Like, share, and subscribe. There she is. All right. Now, that should be about park. Just for the orientation from the lock switch, that should be just about park right there. So, I've got this part done. There's your ignition switch. Line up right there. Okay. Rods up. Springs in. Yep. Okay. Clean your hands off again. So now we want to bolt up and put the bolts in here to lock this in place. That's these four of them. And I don't want to tighten these all the way down right now. I want to make sure that you just let it, it's a little bit loose in there. Just let it work it around a little bit. See, it's looking in, see it's pushing up against it. All right, so I just want to make sure everything's set and it feels correct, okay? So that should be parked. All right, so now we'll tighten it all the way down. First thing you want to make sure of is that your lock cylinder is all the way out, okay? I don't know if you can see. We'll get you a little light. Now, see them teeth in the back? That's the gear that lock runs on, okay? I don't know if there's enough light in here. You can't really see. Nope. There's enough light. But that mechanism back there, that one, that key, that's what that little black cam goes on. And that's what controls that, along with your lock switch. Along with your lock switch. When you turn that forward, that's what moves that cam and depresses that. So, and that also, that runs the rod here that engages your ignition switch and turns it on and off, okay? So, we want that out there about like that. And we want those gears sitting just about like that. That is your little plastic gear that runs that knob. When you turn that key, them gears push that knob in and hit your ignition switch rod, okay? Easy way I found to do this is basically, there's only one way for it to go, and you need to have it up like this. Goes in that groove just like that. Just hang it in there when you're going to hang the key, all right? And we're going to put a little bit of the super lube. Don't make no jokes. We're going to put a little bit of that super lube on this gear. Not a lot, just a little. And I know that little tube of super lube looks like it's ancient, which it is. But then the simplest way to do this is you got to line that notch up with that lock, all right? With the lock piece right there. And you just got to play with it. There it is. Bam. There it is. Now, see if we did this job right. Boom. Roar. Okay. Now she's in. And then we're just going to use our pin. See it? Right there. And focus. Right there. And then we'll just tighten that one down. Same size as the other four. And that part is done. And I did, okay, well, I knew ignition switch for it. And I didn't play around. You always take your old part. I took the old part with me to the store because the first one they gave me wasn't the right one. So I always, when it comes to these old trucks and stuff like this, I always take the part with me. And that's a direct replacement, all right? And this is what you're looking for right there. That little spot right there. This bolts on here with two little screws. This one and this one. That's why I always put the bolts back where they came from. This slides into this groove down the shaft, and then it bolts up underneath on the other side. See? Right there. And you just bolt it in. And that's the electric connection that controls all the key on, key off, all that business. All right. Boom. Boom. And you can feel that. You can feel that hitting in the key. You can feel that hitting in this switch. Okay, so, and it's designed to sit nice and tight that keeps it in place. But that's the main mechanism. That's your ignition switch. All right, so now we get to go back to the fun part, putting all the guts into that, back into that. All right, since we have all this done, next thing is going to be your turn signal assembly. And it will come out the back side. You can just grab a hold of it back here. There it is. And this one just slips over like this. And it will only bolt up one certain way. The easiest way to do is just line it up with this. And there's 3 bolts that it'll bolt to. You just got to line up the bolt holes. And yep, we're in the right place. All right. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Then there are 3 Phillips head screws. This will only bolt in one way. You know how hard this is to do with a camera in your face? Even though I've done this 100 times, it's still hard to do because I'm looking around the camera instead of at the piece itself. Okay. Bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. Won't go anywhere else. We'll take our emergency flasher. I'll probably take that off at a later date. Clean that up a little bit. But right now, I'm just kind of had enough. Okay. Key off. Key out of the cylinder. Okay. Our turn signal. Armature. Okay, that should be all the mechanicals inside. So now we get to put the spring in place for the horn button. The horn button itself. And that should pop in there and slide in there. There we go, just like that. All right, so that's spring loaded. And then we got to put our piece back on. Now, the thing with this is, let me spin this out of the way for you here. That really isn't in place there. There is one spot, there it is. There is one spot here, right here, that's wider than the rest of them. If you can see in this key, in this plate, I'll give you, there we go. We'll give you a color difference here. See how there's that one space right here, right there. That's wider than the rest of them. That has to correspond with that spot on the shaft. Okay. Now, as you can tell, this has a slot kick burnt out of it for this itself. So you kind of got to finagle it around a little bit. All right. And this, you want this, the bulge, see how it's kind of bulged out? You want the bulge to the outside because that ring that's going to lock everything in place has to ride in that groove. And the groove that's back here. So I know I need to have this plate about right here, which means I need to move this. I got that. It means I need to move this around so that goes in there. So if I've done what I need to do right here, this should pop into place if I've got it right. There we go. Boom. Okay. Now we got to put the clip back on. But, you know, that you can't press that with your fingers and put that on too. So we're going to slip this here into the first groove right there. Now we're going to take our compressor, put it back on this plate, the same one that we used We'll press it the first time, and we're just gonna spin the wing, and it works so good. Such a handy little tool. And see how we're locked in here. All right, so we're just gonna dial it back till we get past that groove. All right, that groove right there, this groove right here, that one, because this piece needs to go into that groove. And it's just a simple matter of working it back in place. All right, so we're in the groove, and it doesn't have to be super tight in that groove. It just needs to be in that groove. So we're just gonna now take this back off, let that seat. Boom, done. All right. Okay. Oh, hands are dirty. Did my job right. All right. Ooh, there we go. Gonna deal with. We'll just put the cover. We put the dust cover on. You don't necessarily have to put that dust cover on, but I'm already here and I already got it, so we're gonna put it on. Okay, so it's finished. Only thing left is put a steering wheel on, and I'll put the steering wheel on after I swap it out for the other one that's in the truck right now. There just isn't any way to take a 300 tree column and make it work make it work correctly. Have a lock in park, in neutral, have a lock control, shifter linkage. It just doesn't work. So this is just that's basically how you can take it apart, put the new parts on, or new parts in that you need, or use the old ones that are still working. But just all I did was sand it down and painted it with my favorite paint, from Ace Hardware, and just took my time. And this thing will last as long as I have that truck. If you'd like to support this channel, you can tell I'm wearing the new Uncle Buck's Garage hat. You can check out the link down below. Y'all have a great day. It's a great day today. Could be a new steering column tomorrow, or a rebuilt one. Y'all be good.